We are about to start chapter 12. This is the last chapter that we're going to cover in this course, and it's a beefy one. So I wanted to give a little bit of an introductory video just talking about some of the concepts, kind of talk about the goals kind of this chapter. This chapter probably deserves an introductory video more so than any of the other chapters. Up until now, we've just been talking about translational motion, right? If I have an object, I have a candle here. If I have an object, we're just talking about how it translates through space, right? But objects are three-dimensional. We've been treating them almost as zero-dimensional, that really they have no width, no depth, no length, right, that they're points, and so all we could talk about was translational motion, and that's well and good. Translational motion makes up a lot of motion, but you can also rotate, and so chapter 12 is all about rigid body rotation. So if I take my candle, I can not only just translate, but I can also rotate, right? And I can rotate along one axis here, right? But I could also rotate, around a different axis, right? And that rotation is very different from axis to axis. So how do we describe that? How do we quantify that? How do we measure it? And then how do we put all of it together to talk about combination motion, like rolling? Rolling is not only a rotational motion, but a translational motion as well. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. There's going to be a rotational or angular quantity for just about every quantity that we've introduced in this course so far. The last 11, 10, if we don't include chapter 1, chapters has really been a lead up until this moment, where we can start saying, okay, that was all linear. Let's start to rotate everything. So we're going to talk about, our angular position, velocity, acceleration that we're already familiar with. We can use the angular kinematic equations that we came up with in chapter 4. We can also now expand upon that and talk about an angular inertia quantity, similar to a rotational mass. I hesitate saying that too much, but we're going to talk about moment of inertia, which is this resistance to angular acceleration. We're also going to talk about torque. Torque is kind of like a rotational force, right? And then we'll even talk about rotational energies, and then angular momentum by the end of it. So there's a lot in this chapter. I think if I were to caution you at all in this chapter, it's to say, hey, take it not slow, but take it steady, right? Try and watch these videos in chunks, so that way you're not stretching it over too long of a period. If anything isn't quite clicking, maybe like the second or third time of trying to attack it, come talk to me. Some of this stuff probably won't come the first time, and that's okay. But if by the second or third time it's still not clicking, come talk to me. I don't want you to waste any more time trying to figure it out and bashing your head against the wall. It's not a waste of time, but I don't want you spending more time on things than you need to. And then the other thing is do problems. All right, this one, I can't stress this enough, do problems. I'm going to put as many worked examples as I can up, and it won't only just be on Monday this week, but all next week as well. We don't have recitation next week. We only have recitation this week, but there will be some extra worked examples. So with that, I'm going to end the intro, but I hope this kind of framed things. The other thing I would say is, crack open that book. I'm taking a lot of stuff from the chapter, but the chapter is pretty good at kind of stringing everything together. So crack open that chapter if you're feeling a little lost, and come talk to me in an office hour or in my email. I'm happy to talk about any of this. So with that, on to lecture 1. Woo! And enjoy chapter 12.